record on this computer. Okay, it never talked to me before. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to do Hoof Chat today, and what I want to talk about today is just my horse and some of the stuff that I've experienced and how I got into this, and some of the stuff I'm seeing now, and because I'm hoping that what I've been through and some of the stuff you're going to see on my horse, because I haven't really spent much time showing you my horse or the things I've gone through or anything like that. And so I just want to kind of talk about him and kind of where he's at and what I'm doing with him in restoring his feet. And so so I'm going to go ahead and tell you a story of kind of how I got started in this. Now, I've had horses all my life. I was raised on a ranch, always worked cattle out in Wyoming, and broke horses. That's what we called it. Started them, started colts, started lots of colts, worked lots of cattle, things like that, and grew up in Wyoming where I was around a lot of wild horses. Just a minute, I'm gonna try and make this there we go. Okay, grew up in Wyoming on the Red Desert where there are a lot of wild horses. For some reason, wild horses have always come in and out of my life for one reason or the other. And so now the only reason I'm telling you about this is so that you understand why I have such a drive, why I had such a drive to understand this whole barefoot movement, and why I pushed on through it to get out of it, to try and discover what the true foot of the horse was. Now, as you know, TACT is called, stands for the anatomically correct trim. Now, here's the thing. Every farrier I ever had, I always just assumed, wouldn't you? You just assume that they must know the anatomy. And so the trimming they're doing is according to the anatomy. I mean, maybe you never even thought about it in your head. The words and the process didn't go through your head like this, but it's kind of this intrinsic thing. It's like when you go to the doctor. When you go to the doctor, you assume that that doctor knows the human body. And therefore, when he examines you or whatever, he's going to know what's wrong. Okay, well, we already know that don't always work out. Anybody that's lived for any amount of time at all. But so when it comes to a farrier or a vet, you assume, without it even being spoken, because they're the experts, that they know the anatomy. And so you assume that everything they're doing, the trimming, the shoeing, whatever, is according to the anatomy. And again, maybe you've never said it to yourself or anything else, but it's just this ingrained assumption we have. So I always had that. And so I always thought, there was a couple times when I got a shoer when I knew things were way out of whack, but for the most part, I thought that most of the people I had putting shoes on my horses were doing a good job and knew what they were doing and knew the anatomy. And so when I got into barefoot trimming was because I had a farrier that was trimming my colt, and my colt's feet just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And I always heard that was a really bad deal. And so I wound up taking over from that farrier. Well, because when I tried to get him to do some changing, then he never called me back. So many of us have had that experience. And so I had heard first about this trim based on wild horse feed in 1997 when I lived in what was the name of this? It wasn't Kalispell. See, I can't even remember where I've lived. Yeah, it was Kalispell, Montana. Um, just a second. Okay, Kalispell, Montana, where we were working for this guy that had a small place there where he thought he was going to raise horses, and he hired us to manage his place. And when we got there, we saw that this guy didn't need to be managing horses, and so we got him out of the horse business. That's kind of how that went, and got him into raising like first calf heifers instead, which there's more money on it. Everybody had worked for him had jacked him around and bought all these horses that were worth absolutely nothing. And so anyway, so his son-in-law, whose name was Rich Clark, and he is now a farrier up there in natural balance farrier up there in Montana. Anyway, he's the one that first told me this whole thing about the natural horse trim, or a trim based on the study of horses in the wild. And immediately it clicked with me because of my experience in Rawlins, Wyoming, where I lived for 20 years, and grew up on a ranch there, was around wild horses. Now, the ranch that I grew up on was a smaller place, but I had friends that had a big ranch over south, was north of Rawlins. No, turn around, south of Rawlins. Okay, south of Rawlins, their names was Espy, and they'd had a ranch there for over 100 years. And they also had always, for 100 years, had a band of horses that ran with the wild horses right next to them. And so I was able to really get a lot of experience through them. Like, they never shod their ranch horses ever. Okay. And they ran right next to the wild ones, and you're way out in the middle of the red desert, and those horses never had a problem. But I never really thought about it. I just thought, boy, these people don't take very good care of their horses' feet. I didn't realize, hey, they really didn't need to be shod. There's just things you're not clicking together. It wasn't until years later I started thinking about, well, the reason they didn't shoe their horses was because they never had to. See, now I understand, but at the time I didn't. Because even though I was raised on a ranch, I was at the time still living in town. I lived back and forth between town and this ranch where I was raised, and so I still had kind of other ideas than these people. But they had not only been around wild horses their whole life, they had run wild horses, they had gathered wild horses before it became illegal. And in fact, when you go into their place and you kind of go through the main place and you go up this canyon, and up on top, you could see the remnants of wild horse trap up there and a load and shoot. It was really, really interesting. And up on top, that's where all the wild horses were. And so their son, I was dating their son too, and he had a plane, this little Piper cub, and so every once in a while they lose cattle, so we go out flying to try and find cattle, and we'd fly over those wild horses, and just see them running and everything like that. And so when Rich Clark told me that some guy had done a study on wild horse feet and how you could trim them and different things like that, immediately this just clicked with me, and I knew it to be true. But we left that place, and we wound up going a couple different places, and then we wound up in Kansas, and it's like, let's see, it's like 5-6 years later. And that's when I have this colt now that's 2 years old, and I have this farrier coming every 6 weeks to trim his feet, and his feet just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And when I was a kid, farriers would always say, oh, that horse is platter footed or he's splay footed or something like this. I thought it was some sort of disease, you know? And so I noticed his feet getting bigger and bigger and cracks getting in them, which they call gravel, because when the foot gets big and flared and you get a loose white line, you get a little piece of gravel that travels up the wall and pops out the side. And so I I started to realize that it was something this farrier was doing. And I tried to get him to change a little bit and do something else, but he wouldn't. It was at that point that I thought, well, now that the internet has gotten so big, I'm going to go to the internet and I'm going to see if there's anything on the internet that is about this trimming, this wild horse trimming or whatever it's called. And I kind of remembered his name a little bit, Gene something, and I put in some stuff into the search engine, and that's when I found all kinds of information. When was this? 2005. Okay, 2005. That's when I found all kinds of information on Gene Ovanek, who did many studies. Let me show you the study he did. Just a second here. Hold on. And this is a study everybody should read. Hold on. I'm going to share the screen. Hold on. Well, it's here somewhere. Okay. Just a second. Okay, here it is. Wild horse hoof patterns. Okay, just a second here. This ain't it. Just a minute. Usually I get it right away. Wild horse hoof pattern. There it is. Okay, so wild horse hoof pattern offers help for domestic hoof problems. So I found this article, and then I found some. At that time he had some directions online for how to trim. You know, and so that's when I started trimming. Now, I never took any classes from anybody. The closest thing I came to a class is my husband actually did shoe horses when we were working on ranches. Sometimes we had a shoer come, sometimes he did it, you know, it just depended on how his back felt. And so, you know, so he taught me some about tool usage. So we already had all the tools. And so, so anyway, so I read his directions, and for about 2 weeks I studied online, and then I went out one day and took the directions and endeavored to do what the directions said. It took me, I think, 4 hours to do one horse. And it was really hard, and I was really nervous and stuff, but obviously it worked out good because here I am today. So anyway, it was the fact that I knew for a fact that wild horses don't need shoes. Not only that, but domestic horses that lived out with the wild horses didn't need shoes either. That's why my friends that owned that place, the Espies, had been raising horses for over 100 years and never, I don't think they ever took a rasp or a nipper one to any of their horses. See? So anyway, so that's when I started trimming. And at that time, what I was doing and what he suggests in his trim is you would just take the heels down to the widest point of the frog, or the base of the frog right here. So that's all I was doing. I wasn't really lowering the heels with any kind of a formula or anything like that. I would just take them back. So as long as I did that, it wasn't too bad. But after about 3 years, let's see, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, well, maybe it was more like 4 years. I got involved with ABC Hoof Care, and a girl I knew kept telling me, oh, you got to try this, you got to try this, you got to try this. And well, even before that, wait a minute, I've skipped ahead. At some point, I started researching more online to learn more, and I wound up on Pete Ramey's page. From there, I wound up at Iron Free Hoof. From there, I wound up doing a trim from the top where I trimmed my horse into mechanical laminitis. And from that point on, I was trying to figure out, why does not my horse have feet like a wild horse? See, because I knew that the theory was true. And so then when it didn't turn out that way and my horse's feet started falling apart, I became obsessed with trying to fix him, as well as find the answer for why are not his feet. If this is all you have to do, then why aren't his feet like a wild horse's foot? And so that's when I started really studying the anatomy and trying to figure out what we were doing to keep the horse from being what I knew he could be. And so anyway, then by 2016 was when I discovered, well, we've been trimming the heels out of our horses all this time. Okay, and then so that's why I teach the stuff I teach now. So anyway, that's just a little bit about kind of where I came from. And in the meantime, learning many things, that the anatomy that they teach is not the actual anatomy of the true foot itself. So it's no wonder that their trims lead to all kinds of lameness issues. All right. Okay. So anyway, I just wanted to give you a little bit of that background to where I am here now. Now, I never meant to be teaching nobody about hooves. I just wanted to fix my own horse. Okay, this is all an accident. Okay, this is never something I ever set out to do. It just kind of happened, you know. So, but anyway, so here I am. But what I want to share with you today, after giving you that little bit of an intro, is I want to talk about my horse and some of the things that his feet have gone through, where he's at, where I'm at with his feet now, some of the things that he's taught me. I specifically also want to talk about this periopal issue, and I want to show you a new kind of hoof distortion. I mean, it's not that it's new, it's that my understanding of it is totally different. You know, there's different types of hoof distortion when these heels are trimmed out. There's the kind where the bulb skin stretches a lot and the hoof capsule gets smaller, but it kind of dumps the bulbs out the back. And then there's the kind where the horse can actually look like he has heels. In fact, we have an example of a pony that looks like that on one of the groups right now, where the horse looks like he has heels, but the foot is the cartilage and bulbs are higher up, and but you can definitely tell that the foot is bound if you know this, if you know how these heels get trimmed out. Then there's the kind where uh, the hairline is almost clear down at the ground and the bulbs are just totally sitting on the ground, you know. So when heels get trimmed out, there's different manifestations that it can take on. But something I was not seeing, I mean, it's like you're seeing it, but you're not seeing it, is this deal here. So I'm going to, let me get this picture just a second. And so this is what you got to be looking for on these horses, because this was going on with my horse and I did not realize it. In fact, it's going on with a lot of them. And so it's something you want to be aware of Just a second here. I gotta find the picture. I hope I'm making sense here. Crying out loud. NLPQRS. Just a second. Gotta find that picture. Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay, so to explain this type of distortion, first of all, I want to show you this here. Okay, everybody know what that is, right? Can somebody tell me what that is? That little thing right there?
It's like a little bobbin.
A bobbin. Okay, almost can tell you don't sew much.
A spool.
It's a spool. That's
yeah,
right.
same thing. Yeah.
Same thing. No, it's not. A bobbin is not a spool. Well, I guess it is kind of a spool. Okay. Okay. Yeah. All right. Bobbin. I'm thinking of the machine that I grew up on, which was a Singer treadle. My grandma had one. Yeah, it's a bobbin. Okay. I never thought of that, but yeah. Okay. So it's a spool. And so what does a spool do? It wraps, right? Or like say, anybody know what a ringer washer looks like? You know, how the ringers
Yeah.
go round and round together and
Break with a button.
yeah, and you feed the clothes into them. And I'll tell you what, you better not get your fingers in there. You know what I mean? Well, what I'm seeing is that as the heels are trimmed out, in a lot of cases, the anatomy of the back of the foot, yeah, yes, it can be pulled down this way, but another thing that's happened is it's all being pulled inward like this into the foot. Do you understand what I'm saying? Let's look at the back of a foot. Just a minute. And so what I've been seeing in my horse is how all that is coming out, and the coronary band around the top and the Periopal Corium is all coming to be unloosed or released from in there. So let's see. Let me find a picture of the back of a foot so you can kind of tell. Now remember, that's all soft tissue and soft cartilage back there. So just a second, I gotta find a good picture of the back of a foot. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to, just a minute here, new share. Okay. Okay, so you see this foot here. This is all soft cartilage. Here's your coronary band right here. And here's for where your frog stay should be. Okay, so this, just imagine now two spools right here that are just pulling all this in, like two ringers on a ringer wash machine. They're just pulling all this in and under the foot right there. Okay, you see how her coronary band and hairline is straight here, and how the frog stay must be above it here. Okay, so what happens is this gets spooled in and under the foot, including this area right here, so that this is not here anymore. It gets pulled under the foot. And so that's why you'll see this deal here. Just a minute. We're going to look for some examples. New share. Okay. Okay. Now look at, you see these lines on this foot? You see how they're going in like that? Okay, now the thing that can happen is because up here you have periopal covering the back of this. Well, all this gets sucked in and pulled into the foot and compressed all in here. And so you will have deep down in the central sulcus a lot of times, well, you're going to have dead periopal and periopal that's been pulled from up here. Like you see this area right here? This is actually supposed to be clear up here. See how it curls? Like that? Okay, this is supposed to be up here. Let me show you another picture, just a second here. Let's see. Oops, just a second. Okay, so what I want to look at is I want to look at how I've had to deal with this on Valor and the different things that have happened. Now, we talk about removing periopal and things like that, but I also want to tell you that I don't know the proper procedure per se on every case and how this would be done. And I don't know if a foot is really trimmed out, how much of that you should release all at once or anything like that. Like, because what's happened on my horses, his foot has grown as I've learned about this, and as some of it's released on its own and some of it I have released, and I've seen tremendous changes in his foot when either this happened, you know. So, okay, so we're going to look at just a minute here. Okay, so this is most recent from just a few days ago, actually, 5/23. 5/23. Okay, now I want you to look at his, this is, that you would call this a bulb, you know, right here, the periopal skin. What this covers is it covers the back of the coronary band right here and the back of the frog. The frog goes from right here over to here. So this periopal skin here covers the whole back of the foot, including up there. See, now, as you can see these lines, right? Okay, but see how straight they are and they end right here. See, because it, just like your hoof wall has growth rings, okay, so also does the periopal. It has the same thing. It has layers it grows in. See the lines right there? And I can show you other hooves where it's very more pronounced. Okay, so now look where they go. They go right to here. See that? They don't go clear into here like this. See? They haven't been spooled or bobbined. Yeah, see, I thought you didn't know what you were talking about, and I was the one that didn't know what I was talking about because I forgot what a bobbin was. It is a spool. It's just a different, it's just on the other end of the sewing machine. Okay, so it's the part, so the sewing machine, you have the spool of thread that you put on the top, and then you have the bobbin that you insert underneath, and then the machine sews. Da, 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 see? So you could say one side's the spool and one side's the bobbin, and it's sewing your foot up right into there. There you go. Okay, so let's go back to that other picture here. Okay, now you see, now this looks cracked, but this isn't just cracks. right in here. This is the layers of the periopal. See, that's the same layers I was just showing you on my horse's foot, that instead of going into here, come straight across like this and end right here. See? Then you had, you know, this here. Now, so this is all pulled in here, the periopal that should be back here in the frog stay and everything else, the whole part of that foot has been spooled and sewn up into here. See that? Now that's, I was seeing that, but not seeing it to the degree that I'm seeing it now. See, and that's why you get these horses that got these real weird, well, you see how weird that looks in there, right? See, you see how, now you can really see how that's pulled way into the foot there. Pretty interesting, huh? Okay, so I started understanding that we're having issues with this periopal. I don't know, it's been 7, 8, 9 months ago, you know, like we have been for a long time trimming the periopal here. Okay, but I didn't realize that all this was going on, and that there's a piece of periopal on the very back of here that can get sucked right up into the foot there, and then it just holds everything together. So I'm just going to show you some things that I went through with my horse trying to understand this. Now, this periopal skin, let's go back here. Da, 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 da. Okay, this is just a layer of periopal skin. See that right there? That's a layer of periopal skin covering the anatomy of the back of this foot. Let me find another deal. Okay, this right here. See that? That just covers, this is the coronary band right here. It ends, the coronary band comes here, it ends about here and turns and goes down like this, and it becomes flat and it grows the bar. So your wall grows around here, the coronary band changes here. Now we talked about this before. Okay, you see your coronary band is half round there. It's in the coronary band groove of the hoof capsule till it gets right here. And here, it's shaped different. Let me do an annotate here. Annotate. Okay, so we'll use pink. Okay, so let's see, how would I explain it? Okay, so the coronary band goes like this. That would be the inner foot right there. Now you see this area right here? That's where your heel buttress grows from. Okay, now, oh, I should have done this a little different. Now your wall grows like this. See? And so right from here to here, you have this half circle, and that's where your coronary band groove on the hoof capsule is. Because it's called the groove because coronary band fits in it. But when it gets back here, this area here, okay, that's this piece right here. Oops, wait a minute. That'd be this little piece right here. Okay. Then it's not like this anymore. Then it's like, let's see, how could I explain it? Okay. Okay. Then it does this number here. What do we'll use blue. The hoof wall, instead of like up here, the hoof wall's like this. See? That's that coronary band groove. Of course, you know, right there. But when it gets to here, right here, it grows like this. That's your heel buttress. That's right here. So you see how it supports this area of the foot here by being underneath it and propping it up. See, it props this area up here. See, and so since it grows from underneath here, well, mostly it'll grow maybe like right about to here. Okay, from there, all down this heel here, however that goes. Well, then you got this part here that ain't covered up. See, on the side of the foot here, you have hoof wall. See? But when you get back to here, the hoof wall grows underneath right here. So that's why you need, that's another reason why you need the periopal skin and why it's a little different on the back of the foot than it is around this part here. Okay, because that periopal skin, which grows right from here, has to cover all this up here. See that? It kind of combines all this and holds it together. It holds it all together, as well as it holds the capsule and everything to the foot, or that's part of it. And so that's where your periopal skin is, right here, covering all this up here. Now let me go back here. Okay, so are you understanding a little more structurally with my childish scribble pictures here? And of course, there's a covering over, it grows from here, and so it covers over the back of the frog stay too. The frog stay grows in here, inside here, but there is a piece of periopal skin right here that grows with it and covers it up. See, this makes everything back there more solid, more put together. Well, and you're seeing it over here. See, here, let me undo all this junk here just a second. Okay, so are you understanding now how the growth of the hoof wall changes from the side where you got your coronary band groove right here? Let's see, how would that be? For some reason, I'm having a brain thing.
Sorry, Linda, just to cut in quickly. So your bulb should actually be like your coronary band groove for the back of that foot, for if you think of it that way.
Can you say that again?
Sorry, I think I made a mistake. Now I'm just thinking, seeing that the coronary band groove basically ends at your heel buttress area.
Yeah.
At the back. So now that same groove follows on and actually becomes the bulb.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
the bulb shouldn't be bigger than basically your coronary band groove, if that's the case.
Yeah. Well, see, the coronary band groove is the hoof capsule part.
Yeah.
This part right here, the inner part, that part right there.
Yeah.
Okay. Then the coronary band is here.
Yeah.
Okay. But it changes right there.
And now if you move it towards if you take that same line and draw it across to the the frog stay area.
Like,
Yeah, like that. And you
yeah.
go around, and that is a continuation of your coronary band groove. That is the
Well,
case. So it's
it's a
basically a flexible coronary band groove.
yeah. Well,
So it becomes a bulb.
oh yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, this is different. I mean, because the periopal, you've got periopal here too.
Yeah, yeah.
That covers this section thicker. I mean, a thinner sheet goes down the whole hoof wall. I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah, because you see because the hoof wall is there, so they don't need a thick periopal skin to cover the wall, because it's already got rigidity and strength there. Whereas the bulb area has no wall, there's no stability. So the stretchable, thicker periopal would cover that area, forming that type of structure, basically, like a flexible structure.
Yeah, and then whereas, let me get back to blue here. Let me find another color. We'll do green. Then the heel buttress grows from right here. I can't do it quite right, but it props up the back of the foot. See? It doesn't have a groove. Again, it's like here's the back of your foot. There's the...
Yeah, it actually grows from the flexible part of your periopal.
Yeah, or
which can
the
be
flexible, it grows from the flexible part, this little part of your coronary band. And then the periopal covers this area here. This area here.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. And so it's not supposed to be any wider than this right here. See that? But what do we see a lot of times? We see bulb skin that's stretched clear to here. You know what I'm saying? Am I saying that right? Anyway.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, now it's pretty neat.
Like a wide...
The design of this area back here is pretty cool because look at this here. This is your heel buttress wall, okay? And it's supporting and pushing up on the back of the foot, the coronary band. You see how it's like a pillar underneath there? See, pretty neat. Let's see. You know, after you take these feet, even pictures of these feet, and start, you know, see them from different angles, then it becomes a little more understandable too how this hoof capsule fits this whole thing. And so here's a good example of foot here, where over here you can see, let me make this bigger, just a minute. Clear. Okay, so this is a foot where the periopal, and in fact, that might all be periopal, you know, attached to here and attached to the frog. I just realized that, you know, I used to think that like the periopal was here on this foot. I think the periopal is across the whole back of the thing. Don't you, Riza?
Yes, for sure. It covers the whole back end of that foot because that's all the flexible part that it needs to protect.
Yeah. And
basically together.
And I know that, I'm pretty sure that frog does attach to heel, but the periopal also can grow with and attach the back of the frog. Now, before, I would also see how when you trim the heels out and the cartilage is stretched back up, the periopal that's attached here way to the trimmed out heel will stretch and grow real wide and thick so that it looks similar. It looks similar to a foot. Like this foot has a really good frog stay and really thick frog. But you can have a situation where this is just nothing but Periopal with no frog and no heel, and it can look very similar.
I've got a picture of something like that, where the periopal, it looks like a big frog stay, but if you look closely, you can actually see how the lines are turned in and spooled up in the middle towards the sides, pulling everything like you were showing on the other picture with the
Okay, yeah.
two spools. That's quite interesting because I thought, oh, this looks quite interesting. At first I thought it was a big, thick frog stay, and then I thought, no, this doesn't look right. It doesn't look right to me. And then that's why I took the pictures of it.
Can you send me the pictures? Can we share the pictures?
Okay, let me see if I can do that quickly. Let me see if I can send it to you.
So the thing about the reason we have to know this is because we have to know the anatomy, because these feet can take on so many alternate forms of itself that's not the real foot. See, it's like the anti-hoof. That's a good name for it. You know, looks like it should be the horse's foot, but it's really not. It's pretty amazing, really, how many different forms they can take on that are not the true original foot, because there is one true original foot to these horses. And all horses have the same inner foot, just a different size. Now, if they're badly trimmed for long enough, it can deform the inner foot so that when people take the hoof capsule off, they think that's the foot, but in truth, it's not. And now, see, barefoot's been around long enough. Now you got horses been being trimmed barefoot for a long time. And when was that? Barefoot for a long time, and they're dying. Okay. And so people are dissecting their feet now, and we're seeing what really happened. We're finding out the real story. What did I say here? A scientist, quote, said, lower the heels till the frog kisses the ground. However, frog depth is arbitrary, depending on a number of things. Don't trust that science. It's all, for the most part, I wonder what I said, based on, knowing me, I could have said BS. Interpretation and opinions that often don't have all the facts and thus draw false conclusions. Could have made that smaller. Okay, so let's see. Let me go see if Riza. Let me get on Facebook here. So yeah, so I'm gonna show you. Oh my goodness, here we have the high-low situation going on here.
I sent it on Messenger for you.
Okay, I'm gonna get it here. Just a second. Okay, just a second here. Okay, I'm gonna share here. Oh, I see what you're looking at here. New share. Okay, probably what I do is I'll just download these, and then I can flip them around too, which helps. Download. Just a second here. Okay, let's look at. Okay, where'd you go? Let's see. Download. Oh, yep, I see. Yeah, I see what you're saying here. Download. Keeps wanting to flip back to the thing here. Just a second. Aha. Just a minute. Okay, I think I got enough of them downloaded here. Now I'm gonna go get them and put it on so I can flip them around and make it bigger. Aha, there we go. And okay, can everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So let's flip it around here. Just a second. I got stuff in the way. Wow, yeah, that's definitely that has definitely look, Riza. Look at the lines there.
Yeah, that's the bulbs actually. That looks like the
Yeah.
bulb.
Yeah. So
The bulbs pulled underneath.
yeah, just pulled right into the center of the foot here. Just the whole thing spooled. So here's the other thing though that I noticed. What happens to the heels? Okay, so if your heel buttress grows from, let's see, just a minute here. Let me do an annotate. Okay, so if your heel buttress grows from here, okay, and it's supposed to be, oh, come on, give me, oh, there it is. And it's supposed to be right here and supporting that foot right there. Okay, what happens when this here that grows all this gets turned in like that? So what do you really got here? What I mean, where is this part?
Yeah.
On something like this. And so if this part has been, yeah, if that's been pulled in there like that, then what the hell is that? Do you see what I'm saying? How can that be a true heel buttress? Because a true heel buttress grows from this, but this is now inside here.
Yeah.
So what is that? That's sidewall.
Yep, definitely.
Formed, I think, to look like a heel buttress.
Yeah.
And look at how weird the bars are.
Yeah, they're curved.
Yeah. I was seeing this a few days ago when I was talking to another gal who had a similar problem. I was looking at my own horse's feet and I was seeing where the heel buttress was pulled in like this. See, it wasn't what I was looking at. And it was on some older pictures because they're better now. It couldn't be correct. You know, I mean, well, for one thing, this could be the back of the heel buttress there, but it's supposed to be clear over here.
Yeah.
And so this foot, like this foot
smaller
here, it'd be much shorter, like
than it
so.
should be. And you'll also find that the frog will be much longer than it should be.
Yeah, because it's going to push all that forward. And then you think of, you know, so when everything gets spooled in like that, well, what's going on with the other parts of the foot that were in front of that?
Yep.
You know, like what is right there? The navicular bone is right there, huh? You know,
Yeah.
what kind of effect is this having on their tendons? Things like that, you know, everything. Yeah, look how weird that looks. That just looks, yeah, that's a good example. Let's see. Let me undo my annotate here. Okay, let's look at some more pictures of it. Yeah, like, okay, this heel buttress, if this was to all unroll, this heel buttress would wind clear up over here.
Yeah.
Right. But plus it just doesn't even look right, does it? It
No,
just
not at all.
it just looks weird. Look, it's so interesting. Look at that.
That's the bulb. That's
Yeah.
actually the bulb.
Yeah. You know, and then there's this weird, sucky, funky thing going on here.
What the heck that is?
Well, you know, this is it's just how it would look if you had pulled it in and sucked it down. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. Oh yeah. Yeah, like look at that. That's
Yeah, it's not high up. It's not high enough up in the foot, and you can see how it actually pulls down that whole bulb area.
yeah, it's pulled and the digital cushion.
Yeah,
You know, because the digital cushion's right under there, so it's sucking all that down too. And then it's got this weird stretchy looking stuff there.
Yeah, very thick periopal.
Yeah.
There.
Huh. Yeah, see, just the false version, the anti-hoof. There shall be many anti-hoofs. Interesting. So look at how bulging this looks.
Yeah.
You know, and red and it looks red and like
under pressure.
Mm-hmm.
So, Linda, would you trim any of that periopal?
I don't know. Yeah, to a degree. That foot there, I don't know. What did you decide on that foot?
Well, I trimmed some of it, but I didn't go wild on it. I think if I had more time, I might have spent a bit more time on it. But I was a bit pushed for time, so I said, "Look, let's leave it like that for now." And I'm coming back in a week or two, and then I'm gonna come and have a look at it, do it again.
Okay.
So I didn't immediately attack it. I first wanted to make sense of it.
Yeah, like what is going on here? You know, well, really a great example. You know, it must be by divine design because each week you got great examples of whatever we're talking about. So yeah, so you know, God is interested in horses. Don't think that he doesn't nudge people in a right direction to try and get them to open their eyes and see stuff, you know,
definitely.
and gets people working together, you know. So you see, and just how compressed and tight all that digital cushion is, just like it's pressure loaded in there.
Yeah,
You know?
it's very stiff.
What kind of horse was this?
It's I think it was a warm blood, but
Criminally.
Say again.
I said criminally. Well, I mean, because look how big your thumb is compared to the foot. And this is
and
warm blood.
Yeah, it's a big horse.
Yeah.
And I mean, when I started with him, he had completely trimmed out heels. I mean, he had like really flat. It looked really strange, and he had shoes on. And I said, no, this doesn't look right. And then they wanted to keep shoes on him, and I said, no, let's take it off and see how he goes. And when we started doing a bit more work on its feet, his feet has opened up a lot. But I mean, now with it being wet and being winter now, I've seen this now story happening now. So I'm thinking
Wow.
it's trying to want to release. So I did release some of it, but I think I must go back and release more of it because I
Yeah.
think it probably just want to open up now.
Well, like one of my favorite sayings is fools rush in where angels fear to tread. You know what I mean? And I've learned the hard way
Yeah,
that over trimming the frog and the periopal,
yeah,
if the foot is not ready for it, um,
yeah,
that deep digital flexor tendon can pull the whole foot and rotate it in the capsule.
yeah, because there's no stability then.
Yeah. So like, was that Kathy that was asking that, or who was asking that?
That was Antoinette.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
No problem.
See, we don't know exactly.
I can't believe that's a warm blood foot. It looks
I
like a
know.
pony foot.
It
So it
does,
must be
doesn't it?
incredibly bound. I'd be petrified to take off any of that periopal.
Yeah, like it just might go, you know.
Yeah, well, it's just like you were saying. What's it going to do to the inside of the foot if you release it that quickly?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm going to show you some stuff I did with my horse, how it turned out in the end, and how I'm seeing this whole cartilage. See, my goal has been to get the cartilages to where they're supposed to be, and so in having that goal, then too, the learning about this periopal and how the periopal's binding the foot and stuff has been part of that goal towards releasing the cartilage. But then also, you want to have enough foot that the foot can stand that, and it doesn't just erupt, because this is pressure loaded here. You have the digital cushion, which is fat. Okay, you know that kind of fat you get on meat that you can't chew up? Your teeth just bounce off of it forever. It's not even gristle or anything like that. You can just chew, 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 chew. You can't even chew it up. That's the kind of, now, not because I chewed one up, okay? But that is the kind of fat that is in the digital cushion that is loaded in this foot back in here. Okay, so all of that now has been compressed, and so there's a lot of pressure. Well, look at it. You can just see how it wants to burst out. It's all like bulbous, and I bet it was real tight and taut, because it's all being compressed into a smaller space and held there by the periopal, which probably a good thing. So we're still learning how to deal with this periopal, but learning some amazing things about it too. So, okay, let me see what I got here. Oh, post no bills. I thought that was pretty funny. I'll show you this. Somebody put post no bills. They got Bill Gates, Bill Clinton, I forget that Bill Nye. Oh, Mr. Bill. And I thought that's pretty hilarious.
He didn't post dollar bills.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Should have put that on there. That would have been a good one. Oh, okay. Well, there's our daily joke. Let's see. Okay, and while I got this foot here, this is a foot I was looking at for somebody last night. What I want to show you is I wonder if I can make this smaller. Just a second. Oh well, doesn't matter. When you see a foot like that you're looking at inflammation. Okay, you'll tap a foot. Risa, have you seen feet like that they just get all weird, discolored, and
Yeah.
and stuff, and there's a lot of inflammation. They might even have laminitis.
Yeah, and it's soulless, cheesy. It's like really terrible. I mean, it's difficult to really make it out.
Yeah,
It's just
and see the color. It's like inflammation, and you could tap on that foot, it'll sound hollow, like it's dead, you know. So that's something. See the difference now? This foot obviously has problems, but see, it's still doing pretty good as far as being alive. I don't see a lot of inflammation really in this foot like that other one. Okay, so that was a good example. All right, so I'm going to show you, let's see, some of the stuff I've been through in Valor's feet with this whole cartilage unbinding, learn about the periopal, then releasing the periopal. How if you don't pay attention, see, we're still learning about the periopal too. If you don't pay attention to it, any part of the foot, I'll tell you this, any part of the foot can take over and retard your progress. Okay. The quarters can take over. There's one place of the quarter and the pillar that can totally take over and keep you in limbo forever. If the tubules grow and get too far forward and too long, then they just take over and they'll just keep your foot there. You always have to keep in mind where you're going with that foot and the basic structure of the foot. Let's see here. Just a second here, and I'll find a picture to remind people where we're going here. Just a second. Got to find a good example in my pictures. Well, correct foot example. Just a minute here. New share. Okay. Okay, you have to remember that this is the correct foot here. That your horn tubules are eventually going to want to be lined up like so. That the back of the foot is 2/3 as long or high or the size of the front of the foot. Let's see here. Hold on, let me get an annotate. Let's see. Okay, so see that area there, and then this area here. Okay, this is your basic hoof structure here. And then this area here is, your extra part. That sounds so scientific. That's your extra part. Okay, but basically, this is, your, see there, that's what I call the moonsicle right there, because when you look at it from the bottom, it's like this. More like that. See this little area here? That's what that looks like from the bottom, kind of, the shape of it. Okay, so this is where you're headed. Okay, so I can look at my foot here, and this is where you're headed with the frog stay, that this thing is going to come back and it's going to be way up high on the foot back here, like that. This would be frog stay. Right now, in this foot, didn't have that there. So you see two different examples of my horse's feet. He's had, his feet just can be so many different shapes, I'm telling you. Okay. So Let me go look for another example. Just a second here. And there's other things besides that. That's just one thing you're kind of looking for, you know, and the in alignment tubules that are longest in the center of the toe and then reduce as they go back. And by the time all is said and done, your heels will be about 2/3 the length of the dorsal wall, and you should have 3/4 of an inch to an inch of uniform sole thickness under the foot. Here, I'll show you. I got this deal here. Okay. Okay, here's our e-hoof here. Okay, so you see how 2/3, 1/3. So your heel from here to here should be 2/3, about 2/3 of your dorsal wall when all is said and done. This just kind of gives you an example. See, this would be correct, this would be incorrect. See how the hairline goes down, pulling all that down under? Yeah, we don't want that. But what can happen is, let me annotate here. So you've got to keep an eye on your horn tubules, because when the heels are trimmed out, it puts everything at a lower angle. Say, be like this. Now it's like this. See, and usually it gets to be like this, more like that. Well, then all these start shooting forward like so. See? And see how this one winds up longer than your dorsal wall? That's not how it's supposed to be. See? Longest in the center, and then they get shorter as they go back, like that. So we're always, always, always looking to move these in that direction, like that. So these can take over if you're not careful. So this process, okay, you've got to keep an eye on these, and they can't always move. Like sometimes you got to grow some heel and get some elevation up here, like so, before you can get these to go back. Okay, but you got to keep an eye on them, because if you can, you want to go back as much as possible, so they're just not ruling the roost here. And so, you know, that's when you do your beveling and they fall back, and then they will come into alignment. But this is why you gotta, sometimes if you got a really flat-footed horse, you're gonna have to grow some heel first before you're gonna get these tubules to go too much of anywhere. See, it's a structural principle. You know, if I got a foot like this that's got a heel like that, okay, you know, how am I going to get this here to kick anything back? You know, I'm going to have to raise this heel, grow it a little bit first, and get some length on it before I'm going to be able to get these to come up and move back. Because see, if these are forward, then this is forward here too. Okay, there's just no way these are going to kick these little horn tubules back. That's why you got to get some heel in, start growing some heel, and then it'll be easier to start correcting some of these horn tubules here. It's just structural mechanics, you know, engineering principles. Okay, let me undo this. Okay, clear all. There we go. All right, so let me close this off just a minute. Well, there we go. All right, so I'm going to get into my horse's pictures here. First thing I'm going to show you is, let's see here. Let me close some of these off. Okay, just a second. We're gonna put that on that picture for now while I'm drawing some pictures out here. Just a second. So settings, pictures. Okay. Let's see. First here, I'm going to show you something. Hold on. Oh, new share. Okay, so I have a few here going back to 2014, but I have some going back past that on another, whatchamacallit, external storage device that I got to get working again because it didn't want to work with this computer. When I'd like to really go way, way, way back and show you some stuff. But in 2018, I thought my feet were doing great and I came out to find a mess. And I thought I had thrush. And then when I took pictures, I thought my heels ran forward and I was totally bummed out. So, but we're gonna, before we look at that, okay, because, and again, this is all working towards the whole issue with the periopal, because the periopal has everything to do with this whole situation too, of this foot binding and all of that. So let's see. So, well, let's see what they were. Okay, so we want to go to 9-9, but let's try 8-20 and see what Valor's front hooves looked like. Now, here we're gonna compare this to what his foot looks like now. Okay. Okay, so the bulb was expanding quite a bit there. And but see, I didn't know what I was looking at when all this was going on either. At the time too, I still thought, well, what's my heels are run, what's going on? Now look at how thick the bulb looks there. I want to get that other picture here to compare it. Just a second. Hold on. I'm going to take a picture of this. I didn't know. See, there's been a number of times things were going on where I'd be a lot further ahead if I would have understood it, you know? Just a second here. Hold on. Let me get a picture. Oh, wait. Just a second. It's taking me a little bit here. Because they don't want to be the same size. Okay, I think I got it. Just a second. If I would have understood what was going on clear back then, I'd be way further ahead because I can see where I have gone backwards and didn't realize what was going on. And it was all because I did not understand this thing with the periopal. Okay. Or the true placement of the frog as well. Okay, so now I'm going to do a new share here where I compare these. Okay, so this is 9, just a minute. Let's see what it is. Hold on. Okay, that's not it. A second. Okay, that is properties. Okay, that is July 12th, 2019. Or wait, no. That's wrong. It's August 20th, 2018. All right. Okay. So anyway, just a second. Yeah, it's 8/20/18, and this is the same foot, and then the other picture is from several days ago. Well, hold on. Okay, so here's an example of the difference in bulbs that are bound and under. Let me make this a little bit bigger here. Hold on. This stupid thing. Okay, I just lost it. Hold on. I'm having technical difficulties. Let me save this and reopen it. Just a minute. Save as. Hold on. Just a second here. Okay, pictures. Sorry to take so long. Let's see. But I want to get a comparison on this. Alrighty. Okay, there we go. Finally. Okay. So this is in 2018. And this is in, well, this is like 3 days ago. Okay. Now, I want you to look at the difference in the size of the bulb and in the basic structure. First of all, in this foot here, notice that the heels are hollow. Okay. Look at the sole here. This is full live sole and a full tight white line all the way around. See there? Over here, you haven't got that. Yeah, it was pretty much hollow in the heels. I'm gonna open up, let's see. Just a minute. I'm gonna go to that page. We're gonna look at some different ways that the feet look. This is why I say the anti-hoof. The anti-hoof looks like the hoof, but isn't. It's not the true foot of the horse, you see? And so and why is that? Because these horses, no foot, no horse. And so to survive, the foot has to be able to deal with different types of distortion and keep the horse moving for as long as possible. And so that's what the foot does. But it's not the true foot of the horse. And only the true foot of the horse is going to give you the true performance of the horse, the nature, the character, everything, because their life, their soul is in their feet. Their spirit is in their feet.
Hey, Linda, this is Kathy.
Hi, Kathy.
Hi, sorry, I was on earlier, but I was on another call and I was not hearing you for like the first half an hour because I had to put you on mute. But anyway, you were mentioning that the foot on the left, you said, is hollow. The heels are hollow.
Meaning no live, thick, full sole.
Okay.
We'll look at it more here in
Okay.
just a second. And you'll see, we'll look at both of them and you'll see the difference. See, the foot on the right is still bound. It's not fully restored. The cartilages are pulled under. Were you here when we went through that about how basically the whole back of the foot gets pulled into the center?
Yeah, I did hear some of that. Probably not
okay.
all of it, but I did hear some of it.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. Okay, so all right, so you see that foot there, and I'm gonna do a new share over to that foot. Just a second here. Okay, and we're just gonna go through and see what that foot looked like. Okay, we're gonna go back this way. This is what it was looking like at the time. That's okay. See the hollowness there? There's no real sole in the heel like in the other. Look how big the bulbs are. See? Let's see. So he was really getting a good frog stand stuff. And I had this crack forever until just recently. It started closing up. But yeah, he didn't, the sole in the heels was not as full. It doesn't look too bad right there, but he's hollow here. Let's see. Yeah, that don't.
You can see his bars doesn't look correct either.
Yeah, the bars are not good. Let's see. Okay, now I'll show you the other foot in the same pictures. Let's see. Pictures.
Linda, before you get all the way to the new pictures, on
Uh-huh.
the old picture, that hollow in the toe at the white line, is that remnants of a laminar wedge?
Well, he never had a laminar wedge.
Okay, so then that's just white line separation.
Yeah, let me look here. I'm not sure what we're looking at. Oh, yeah, that he had those in all four toes.
Okay.
Really bad, really bad. But that was like even a number of years before this. You can see how it kind of deviates there like that. It was really bad. It went clear down like this, and there was a big black dot that would never go away. I would dig it out.
That line's what made me think it might be remnants of the laminar wedge.
Yeah, well, see, he never had a laminar wedge. I never let his toes get long. If anything, I butchered his toes, you know, kept them way back. So he never grew a laminar wedge, but also what that does and what trimming out the heels does, puts the toe under so much pressure that it develops a divot right here. And then they get this black fungus in there that won't go away. But now he doesn't have it at all. It's totally gone. If I were to get the older pictures, I'll show you. He had them in all 4 feet. I thought he had keratomas or something. Let's see here. Oh, ditto. I'm searching for. Okay. Okay, I got to remember what foot's what here. Well, that foot was on the other side when I had my mats on the other side. Okay, so now we might have to look at the other foot. I didn't take, oh, well, okay. Let's see. Okay. Just a second. Okay. Okay. I wish I could show, I wish they'd do like your whole screen. Basic, advanced, PowerPoint, video, content from 2 cameras. Basic. Okay. Just a second here. Okay, so the one you're looking at was from 2018. Okay, now this is from just a few days ago. Okay. Okay, so it's just more full in here. The heel buttress is bigger. The bars are better. When the foot is cleaned up, you can really see it better. But this is how the foot looks now. And I took off, this is actually 1 3/4 inch because I reset the heels back some. It's kind of on a slant there. So wet here. Now compared to what his foot looked like then, see, it's quite a bit different. That's the other side. This is what it looks like behind. See how high the frog stays getting up in the foot, and the bulb skin is so thick back here. Look at that, Riza.
Yeah, I was looking at your periopal is quite soft and gone white right around the whole foot.
Yeah, because it's so wet here. I'm living in a slough.
Yeah.
It's been wet for over a month.
Jeez.
Yeah, and so this is all from that,
From
but
the wet.
but also I think see, we're trying to discover what the true foot of the horse is, right? So I think this periopal skin is supposed to be really thick back here. You know?
Yeah, I suppose it basically forms your basic, if you can call it, coronary band groove, a flexible coronary band groove, if you can call it that.
And so let's say this keeps growing and it grows clear down to here. Then, you know, this stuff can dry and get as hard as hoof wall, right? Look how it would protect the heels. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this foot is still changing and doing things that I'm wondering about. You know, like this part of the frog here. Well, okay, look at this. Look at that weirdness of the periopal there.
Yeah.
See, look at that. It's still, look, I just noticed this. Now this is the other foot from the other one. Look at how that's still curved into there.
Yeah, it's still pulling in.
Yeah, and look at the crease here.
Yeah, now if you follow that whole curve right into the almost the middle of your frog, not the middle, but up there, yeah.
Yeah.
That looks like it's one part.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So then what happens? So I'm gonna go look at this again later today and see about maybe taking some of this out.
Yeah.
Which
I think that's just compacted stuff that's been pulled in there.
Yeah. And
So,
so
what I've
that
also
means,
noticed is-
oh, go ahead. I'm
okay, so-
sorry.
And what I'm saying is, what I've noticed with a couple of horses is, sometimes you get the thrush in that area, and I was wondering, and after they had thrush and stuff like that, the foot looks like it expanded a little bit and stuff started moving. So I'm thinking the thrush was just eating out the stuff that shouldn't be there, and then
Yeah.
the foot released a little bit.
So, and oh, and this is what I noticed too. My heels are curved. They should not be like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, let's straighten up.
Um,
They should straighten up.
And what I'm expecting them to do is to widen out
Yeah,
here. So
as your bulb unfold.
yeah, now see the other foot is it's not as bound as that foot. See there?
Okay. Yeah, because they're open.
See,
So
it's
your bulbs are more apart.
yeah. Let me
Yeah,
see
this
here.
one pulls down a little bit. Yeah.
Now, I think this whole part right here is supposed to be back here.
Yeah.
That the heels are supposed to be wider. They're not supposed to be bent in like that.
Yeah.
See? That the heels are that this is going to straighten out more back this way. That this is the base of the frog right here. Okay? I think this is supposed to be here.
Back,
And
further back.
and all this periopal is supposed to be further back here. And the reason I think that now is because of this. Let me show you this deal here. Because we're going to look at a wild horse foot. This is a 3-year-old horse that had the perfect environment. So, trying to understand these horses' feet. Okay, so let me find this foot. Hold on, it'll take me a second here. You see how easy the back of the foot gets sucked into the center. The wrong situation happens. And so just a second here. Okay, I got it. Okay, new share. Okay, so this is a 3-year-old mare in the perfect environment, just enough moisture, but rugged ground, had to move a lot, but didn't have to move too much, to where it wore its heels off instantly as a foal, so here's the heel buttress, but look at the back right here. See? Now, okay, now if we take this and we combine it with Gene Ovanek's research, which, he interpreted some things on that I weren't correct. Okay, but his research and the form of the hoof and the prints he took. Say, let me go to that. See, that could be all periopal. See what I'm saying? That's why I said on this foot here, right here. Okay, now remember, look, even here, it's still pulled in that way. You see it?
Yeah.
Even on that foot, it's still pulled in. See, I'm just noticing some of these things now. So this chunk of gunk here, okay, I'm seeing the true frog. I'm seeing where the true frog is. Here, just a minute. Let me draw it. Let's see, draw. Okay, the true frog is here, I believe. Okay, all this, let me get a different color. All this is gunk pulled in and distorted.
Like periopal, yeah.
Yeah, see how that's still going in like that?
Yeah.
Shouldn't be like that.
See now,
Now,
now when that starts straightening out, that will pull your whole frog back too.
yeah, yeah. And so then,
Then it can
this,
attach to the side of your heels.
yeah, and the frog will be back here supporting the back of the, like you say, the back of the heels. And then
Yeah.
this periopal,
Will be
I mean,
higher up.
it'll dry and it'll get hard as a rock and it'll grow down the whole heel like that. But then you'll have
Yeah.
frog that's this thick too.
Yep.
See? And so this periopal right in here, now you look at this wild horse foot and that's what you get. But see, it can all be a counterfeit. You can also have a whole counterfeit to this situation where the heels are trimmed out and the whole foot has been sucked in here and sewed up, you know, by the bobbin and the spool. That's what I'm going to call it from now on. You got a bobbin and a spool. You got your bobbin
Making-
over here and your spool here. And
Making curtain.
this is your sewing machine. Tack, 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 tack. And they're just sewing that baby up in there.
Making curtain.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. See, so if we were to go to, let's see here. Let me undo that. Clear all drawings. Okay, new share. So now, if we're to go here and we're to look at his diagram, okay? Okay, first of all, this theory did never work out. This 2/3, 1/3, if you just trim the foot to that, because what happens is when you over trim the heels, this distance from here to here gets shorter. Well, so your heels move forward this way. And so this distance, then when you divide it in half, it's not gonna, the 1/3, this is gonna be too long and you're gonna wind up taking your toe back. You see, that's why this 1/3, 2/3 balance thing of the equine hoof, they call it the natural balance, it don't work. It don't work because the hoof capsule, when you trim the heels wrong, gets shorter going that way. And so if you're going to measure your toe by the 2/3 distance from here to here, and your heels, they might at first seem to go back when you take them back and down, but the more you do that, then they start moving forward. And as they do, they're taking all this here and they're spooling it up and sewing it up into the center of the foot like that, see? Like that. And so then this distance from here to here, this 2/3, gets shorter. Well, then you look at it and you take your little measuring doohickey whacker and you measure this and you go, well, now 1/3 of that, it needs to be to where my breakover is. Well, now you got to make it shorter, which means you got to take the toe back. And so this is why we always say,
Round up the whole foot.
yeah, when the heels are trimmed out, it makes the toe look long. And so then they start taking the toe back. And then the front of the foot, you were binding the back of the foot this way. Now, the more you take the toe back, then the front of the foot starts bending this way. You wind up with these little feet. See? So, but okay, but here we go. Now he took a lot of whatchamacallit, a lot of imprints on boards of these wild horse feet. And so, and they were all pretty much like this. Okay, now the part I want to focus on here is where the heels were on these horses and where the frog was. See how the frog was behind the heels? And the periopal, you know, would have been there too. And so this is what we see on this horse here. You see that? Here's the heels. Okay. Here's the full posterior support of the frog right in here.
Yeah.
Okay. And so then let me go to this other deal. New share. Okay, so this is what it eventually, this piece here, there's the frog that should be clear back here. See it? And then this here is going to be even a little further back. Are you seeing what I'm trying to say here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Now,
see.
okay, now that you know that, now I'm going to show you something that happened. Okay, now since I've been trimming these feet, I have seen the whole foot shift, the feet shift, and the true apex had to be moved back. And I always had to do it by hand. You know, in other words, I had to come up here and trim it back. And then come to find out, I would have to take my toe back as well. Sometimes up to 1/4 of an inch furthermore. Because see, the whole foot would shift back and everything would move. Because you're in this situation where your horn tubules are all like this from your heels being trimmed out, right? Well, the whole foot would shift. See, the whole foot would just, well, what is going on here? The whole foot would, just a minute, would shift like this. Everything would shift and it would stand more upright. And so everything would move. And so I would have to trim the apex of the frog back, take the, it would be about 1/4 of an inch. It would be a new place for the apex. And then I would have to take my toe back too, because then it would be too long. Okay. And it always worked out really good. Well, I hadn't trimmed in a while. Let's see. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. Let me show you this other thing first. Clear all drawings. Let me show you this other deal quick first, because I want to show you. Okay. Okay, so here you see that this foot is quite different from the foot I have now. Wait a minute. I'm not sharing. Hold on. New share. Okay, you see this? When I do that, do you get the big picture of the foot?
No.
Nah, that figures. Okay, there you see what the foot looks like back in 2018, and this was expanding and I didn't know it. Okay, so let me show you now what happened a month later. Okay, again, look at how that looks. Looks pretty, I thought it looked pretty good. I wasn't, you know, and stuff. Okay, now let me show you what happened a month later. Just a second here. Let's see. Did I have you on the right foot? Just a second here.
You mean the left foot?
Yeah. Okay. Did I just show you? Did you see those feet go through? Anybody?
I don't understand the question.
Well, I just
We saw one foot and then you saw this foot.
okay. New share. Okay. So you saw that one, right? Are you seeing a foot in front of you now from 2018? Now you're looking at the heel picture.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the foot I wanted to make sure that you saw. Okay. Now I will show you what happened a month later. Let's see. Who share? Crime and Antley. Okay, just a second here. Okay, just a second here. Okay, so this is a month later. Just a second here. This is a month later, and I come out, and it had been wet. Yeah, as I say, I look at these pictures now and I go, I wish I would have seen my opportunity, but I didn't. And then I actually went backwards. You know, I didn't know that this could sew up and set me back again if I didn't get it right. Okay, right here. I'm looking at the feet and I'm looking at this issue right here. You see that? Okay, you see that? Do you know what that is? This here.
Periopal that broke off.
Yeah, yeah. This here used to be attached to that there. See, in the other picture a month before, all this was attached together. But the frog stay had grown and it had literally separated the whole thing and pushed the bulbs out. So at the time, I couldn't figure out what I was looking at. I thought, what is that? You know, I thought, yeah, I just didn't know what it was. Now, that's how white it was. See there? That's how much that foot had expanded and been pushed up. Only this did it on its own. And so if I would have known what, because see, all this kind of went away and my foot bound up again and I didn't even realize it. That's why you really got to learn to read this periopal and the stage you're at. But I didn't even know the foot was expanding. All I knew somewhat later was I went to use a soaking boot that fit him before and it didn't fit anymore. So his feet were getting bigger. See? You know, it's interesting. I watched an episode of Gunsmoke. Yeah, an episode of Gunsmoke here a couple days ago. And Matt Dillon's horse. That horse had humongous feet. See, all them horses in them old movies with John Wayne and Gunsmoke and all that, look at their feet. They had huge feet, lots of heel. See? So at the time, I did not understand what was going on. I thought, again, is that thrush? What's going on with my, you know, frog? All that. I really didn't understand it. Didn't realize that the periopal here, see, there's the periopal, had been bound down to here, and the whole thing had released. That's why.
So, Linda, what do you mean you missed the opportunity? What opportunity do you feel that you missed?
Well, I didn't understand the periopal situation at the time, and therefore later the periopal dried up and rebound the hoof, rebound the foot, and it also kind of pulled the bulbs together and I didn't really destroy it, but it retarded the frog stay because I was right at a point where I could have, if I would have really left this open and would have known about the periopal and stuff like that, I could have kept going. And because I didn't know, my foot kind of went backwards. You'll see the pictures where the foot just shrivels up again. Because look at here. Look at how big the frog stay was getting there when that periopal split apart. See the frog stay? See now that would have been really working good to help these heels widen out some more. See, humongous frog stay, real wide. As it was, I let this periopal come in here and close the whole thing up again. Because I didn't understand. I mean, I don't even know if we were trimming periopal over here yet. I can't remember. Maybe we were, you know, but see the frog stay? How wide it was? Okay, so later you're going to see pictures where it all just kind of closed up.
So is the periopal covering the bottom of that frog? Did it pull forward? Like where you have,
you know, I don't think it is right here.
go forward.
But it is, there's periopal here that was attached to here.
Yes, that.
See, right there. And it very well could be some that was in there as well, you know. Not awfully sure about. See, this is, yeah, this ain't right. This may not be right because like where I'm at now, you can see the foot was still bound here, but I just didn't realize it, or just some things going on. Let me go through here again. Okay, let me just a minute here. Okay, so hold on. Okay, so that was on 9/9 of 2018. And this is like a day later. I was really confused and still looking at the foot. What looked weird, it doesn't look weird to me now, but you see the cartilage here? Okay.
No.
Oh, sorry. No, you haven't shared, doofus. Okay. Okay. You see the cartilage? Okay. It used to be clear down here like that. And so I wasn't used to at that time seeing the cartilages like this. And so it made the whole foot look weird to me. Now it doesn't look weird at all. Now I see exactly where the foot was, and I say to myself, wow, I wish I would have realized what was going on here. I would not have regressed. I would have been able to like to know what I know now right this minute. I would have been able to move this foot forward at a much faster pace and not have regressed. So this is the next day because I just came out to take pictures because I was trying to figure out what was going on. And this is when I figured out, see, at first I thought my heels ran forward and I was getting some sort of weird form of thrush. And I was really bothering me. These big bulbs were just really bothering me. I thought it just looked so strange. See, now it doesn't look strange to me, you know? And so I was all disappointed thinking that my heels had run forward and all this, but no, the cartilages had expanded. And look at that nice big frog stay. See, and look how nice the heels are looking there. Everything was set up to just keep expanding if I would have known what I was looking at. Crying out loud. Makes me sick to look at it. Huh?
Okay, one question. Had you known then what you do know now, what would you have done differently to this foot?
I would have kept it from closing up. See, I'm gonna show you pictures
like
where,
cleaning all those all the periopal out of the central sulcus and that type of thing.
yeah. And I would have kept this from closing up like it did. It closed
Okay.
up tight as a drum again.
Yeah, because the periopal probably grew back that way, and probably drier season came and it started
Yep.
hardening and pulling everything together again.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So what you would have done is in the drier season, instead of letting that grow up there in there again and hardening, you'd have kept it supple and maybe clean it out more often.
yeah. And even now it was drying out. See?
Yeah.
And it was already pulling the cartilage down.
Yeah, because it's attached to the frog and
Mhm.
everything moved forward. Yeah, getting pulled in as it dries out.
Yeah, but I like I say, I didn't understand what I was really looking at. But see, yeah, you can see it's drying up. See?
Yeah.
And then it's going to grow down and suck all this together.
Yeah, because the periopal just keep on growing. That's
Yeah.
the one thing that keeps on growing. It's
Yep.
not stopping for anything.
Oh, yeah, it makes me sick. Now looking at this, I'm going, oh, man. You know? Okay, so, all right, so let's skip forward a year or so. Just a minute here. Let me close some of this stuff here. Okay, let me just a second. Okay. Okay. Here we go. This is so that was an 18. This is 420. So, or this is 420, I guess. New share. Let's see. Share. Okay. Okay. So here it's already way more narrow. And look how it's being pulled in again. Like that. See it? How I just don't have that frog stay anymore.
I see it. But now this must be much drier climate.
Yeah.
But where do you draw the line between trying to manipulate the climate and letting the horse respond naturally and just, totally manipulating it?
I don't know.
Well,
Because
there's one.
that drying and everything, that's natural, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is, with that type of thing, I would say try and keep your feet as moist, not as moist as possible, but I mean, even through the drier climate, create a space for them where they can wet their feet and get some moisture in the feet, because it's not just the periopal and stuff that dries out. It's actually your hoof wall starts to dry out as well. And it basically, it's almost like if you've ever worn shoes and wet them like leather shoes and then dry them in front of a dryer or something. Next time you put your foot in there, it feels like the shoe's gone smaller.
Yeah, but here's the thing too. Natural ain't necessarily better. Nature's a nasty, evil shrew. She kills stuff all the time. We're meant to control these issues. It's different if a horse is out in the wild and he's subject to whatever, but we want these horses to have the best feet they can be. And so since we are in charge, we can give the feet moisture. Just because it's a drought doesn't mean that we have to let our horses dry out because, well, look what nature's doing. Let's follow her. Do you
Exactly.
understand what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Natural nature, yeah, nasty evil shrew that eats her own. If you don't think so, well, you're over there in Africa, does the lion say, sorry, little zebra, you're so cute, I'm not gonna kill you and eat you?
Eat
No.
him.
When the
Eat
drought
him
comes,
alive there.
does nature go, oh gee, you poor animals, you're all dying of thirst, here, let me rain on you? No, it's just the luck of the draw.
Exactly.
So we're better than nature. We're better than nature.
Nature.
We can understand the anatomy, and we can understand what nature would do if it was at its best,
Yeah.
and then we control the environment for our horse.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, but if I soak my horse's hooves in the dry season, doesn't that really dry out the hooves even more?
No,
No,
not at all.
no, because they absorb water. This frog absorbs water, and it's that frog absorbing water that helps the foot expand, and I mean, we're talking about correction and then maintaining, but we don't have all the answers. We're just now learning what the true foot of the horse is. See, where's the true frog go? Where's the periopal go? What does it do when it's not in the right space? See what I'm saying? So we don't have all those answers.
Even what happens to it when it dries out?
Yeah. Now, obviously, drying out is good, okay, but it can be detrimental as well.
Yeah, if it dries out too much and it becomes really too hard.
Yeah.
And then it loses flexibility. The parts that should be flexible is now not flexible anymore.
So you see here, now here was interesting. I noticed from the drying out that here's another time that the true apex of the frog moved on its own, so that the whole foot shifted. See, and I'm sure part of that was because it was dry and this dried and pulled back, but I'm going to show you a situation where it did that. I forgot all about this. When was that? When was that? Okay, that's 4/9/20. So last year, yeah, I forgot it did that. I'm going to show you another situation. There's Jackie. Oh, these are some poor horses that have laminitis. Belong to some guy out here. I felt so sorry for him. Okay, so my whole foot shifted, and that's when the toe came back somewhat. I kind of let him go along there between a trim. Okay, but anyway, you can see a definite difference in the periopal here from them other pictures, right? And in the frog stay area here as well. Okay, so now, okay, just a second here. Let's see here. Four 20, 2/11, 2020. Just a minute. I'm looking for Valor. Just a second. Trying to remember where these pictures were that I wanted to show you. Okay. Okay. This is from November. If I can find it here. Okay, so these are some pictures from when I was really trimming out the periopal and I was keeping the foot wet in a boot. And this is from November. This is from November. Let me see here. Just a minute. And when I was experimenting on removing this periopal on one foot, on one foot. Just a second here.
We are not seeing the picture.
Yeah, I'm getting it here. Just a second. Okay. Where are you? There you are. Okay. Okay, so this was in November. And I was experimenting. I was keeping him booted, and I was keeping Dr. D.F. Crosley's hoof paste or skin paste, whatever he calls it, on the foot. So I was keeping the foot moist, and I was also removing the periopal in here. And I really saw the back of this expand quite a bit. This just shows how I really, I had a Dremel and I really took some out. And you can see here how the cartilage expanded and how it released the cartilage here. I was keeping this boot on him with the sock. See, what I do is I put hoof paste on his foot, and then I put a plastic bag over it, and then I put a sock over that, and then I put his foot in a boot. And I did this for like a week just to see what would happen. You can see how I kept everything real moist, and you can see.
It looks real good.
Yeah, it does look good, doesn't it?
If you look at the comparison to the other foot on the other side.
Yeah. Yeah, see there how it pulls it down?
And this one I've straightened nice and straight, this one.
Yeah, I just see this is the true, this is the thing. This is the true cartilage right here. It's not supposed to be all bent and curved down and under and sucked into the foot. See? Now, my cartilages are not like this now. They're still, they bent back down again. But see, I didn't know that frog, that all that was still curled under. Because the frog had to catch up and come back. See, the frog is still sucked up under. So even though the moisture was letting all this release.
Yeah, the frog was still not in its right place. Place. Still a bit far forward.
Look at that. That's just awesome.
Yes.
You know? Got kind of blurry. Okay, so I was really trimming the frogs down too, because I was kind of thinking that the frog needed to move. And look how narrow the frog is here. My foot looks a lot better now. It's actually widened up. See, I didn't realize that the heels, see how the heels turn in like that? I really didn't realize this was all going on. See, I took out, look there, Riza. I took out a big chunk of that frog curtain, you know, and stuff clear down to where the frog was.
Sure.
Okay, so anyway, this experiment I did for a while there, and everything expanded. And then I don't know. Well, okay, and look here. See how hollow my heels are here? But now they're full, which is interesting. Okay, let's see. So let me see here. Okay, so let me go on to another. Okay, so this is just a second. Well, when was this? So that was in November. This just a second and I'll share. Delete, rename, properties. Okay, and this is in January of 21. So November, December, January 2nd of 21. Let's see what's going on now. Where are we here? Okay. Okay, so you see this odd coloring. You know, I don't know if that's from some of the stuff I was using or if he had some information going on in the hoof capsule. See, now one thing's nice is I have full sole in both heels now. Okay, so this is me trimming up the foot. Again, trying to trim out this periopal back here. And really, actually, I trimmed up the frog real good here. And along the sides here, got the frog out of there. Because I was starting to see that frog needed to move. But you also have to be careful with that. Because if a foot is compromised in the dorsal wall here with a laminar wedge, the wedge is just it's gonna be able to pull the foot, but he don't have a laminar wedge. So, but look at the difference with the dried up periopal compared to how the foot was before. Remember how the cartilage was before?
Yeah, it was straight and flat.
Yeah, like this. Now look at it. See?
Yeah. Kind of bunched up again.
Yeah. So this is what it looked like when I was done with that trim. And again, I was trying to open up this area to see if this would all expand. Okay, so, all right. Now, let me go on to just a second here. When was this? Just a second. Okay. Alrighty. And both feet are, well, no, which foot was that? I got to find the right foot. Hold on. Okay, so here's the same foot. Hold on. Okay. Screenshot. Okay. Okay. This is January, February, this is March. So this is 2 months ago. March 16th. Okay, so again, look at the bulb. You know, it looks even more compressed. You know, it's all been sucked back up again. See, but I wasn't really understanding why. But I think I understand why now. It's because of that frog, because that released it when that periopal was wet. But then because the frog was still, you know, forward, this is just my theory. I think it just sucked everything forward again. See, and now I'm looking at it going, what happened to my heels? You know, and everything seemed to move forward. I mean, I wasn't all that happy with what I was seeing and wasn't liking it, wasn't understanding it. I mean, look at that. That's so much totally different than what I was getting before. But again, why? Because the periopal dried up. You know, so, and let's see, kind of have a little bit of frog stay there, but look at there. You see how it goes in like that? So you figure if you still got periopal in here because the anatomy itself is pulled in. You understand? The anatomy itself. And when it dries out, it sucks everything into there. Because what you're doing is you're getting the hoof capsule to expand and the anatomy must move and grow the hoof from a different location. And so once you get all that anatomy back where it's supposed to be, and then the hoof grows from that location, then you can have that foot. And even if it dries out, it's just going to hold that foot right there. But in this case, the anatomy, the internal anatomy is displaced anyway. See? And so, you know, it's wanting to expand because, you know, all this cartilage is under pressure and wanting to release. Okay, and the digital cushion, which is fat, is pushing on everything. So it's wanting to release. But because some of the areas that the periopal grows from is still in here, then when the foot dries out, well, it just sucks it back in there. So I came out, all right, and I hadn't trimmed the foot probably since the time before. So it's been about 2 months. And I come out and I look at this foot and I see this. Look at that. And I'm like, what the heck? You know, and what happened was the whole frog actually moved back on its own. Like, you know how I told you most of the time when I come out and do a foot and I test for where the true apex is, okay, sometimes it will have shifted and moved. Well, this did it all on its own. And usually I have to kind of cut it off and move it back.
Doesn't it appear everything moved back?
Yeah. Yeah, everything moves back. See, because that's all soft tissue. When you figure, okay, look at this part of the foot. See the curves? Well, just a minute. Hold on. Having a coughing attack. Okay. See how it curves in there? It's because that anatomy that grows it's still in there. Because the frog is, everything gets pushed forward. Everything. It's all soft tissue. You know. So ultimately everything has to unwind and move back. So I started trimming this foot and I seen that and I was like, that's interesting. And so Took a bunch of pictures of it. Now look at the coloration under here. See, now again, I hadn't touched this foot for 2 months, but previously I had trimmed out a bunch of that periopal and done that experimental thing, you know, which had a long-term effect in the end. Only I didn't really know what I was doing because I didn't understand some of these things. I mean, I was having a clue here and there. All I knew was I liked the way that cartilage looked, and that's the way I wanted it to be. And then, you know, when I let the foot dry up and it all went back, I was like pretty bummed. Okay, see how the heel's curled in there? That's because the coronary band's curled in, spooled in, sewn in. See, this has to come back out and be straight. Okay, so that's why I'm taking pictures of this. I'm like, well, this is interesting. So I'm just kind of doing some measuring, looking at stuff, wondering what the heck.
So
you know, huh?
You would like, you're looking for an unwinding and then an unbinding.
Yeah, there you go. I like that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I'll borrow that.
I'm gonna speak in sound bites from now on.
Okay.
Okay.
Unwinding and an unbinding. Hey, I love it. Okay, so you know I've been talking about doing notches, right? So I was experimenting on notches, on doing notches. There we go. There's my notch. Wasn't very attractive. I don't think it worked very well. But anyway, there's my other notch. Because see, I thought my heels were running forward. But anyway, we always get freaked out when we think that's going on, right? Okay, so looky here. So I cleaned that foot up, right? And look at that. So I'm thinking like, why is that? Well, look.
Isn't the sole moving backwards?
Yes, because the sole corium and the frog corium and all the coriums cover this foot like a big sock. Okay, and it's thick like a Dr. Shell's gel thing, and it's movable. Okay, not a lot, but it has flex and it can move, right? So you got to think when all this is pushed up here and that's pushed up there, it's also pushing on all this, you know, a place for everything and everything in its place. And when that ain't in its place, then everything else is going to be displaced, you see? And so this frog moved back, okay, and all the sole was affected and moved back too. That's all I can figure out that happened here, because it was still soft ground. I mean, look at the grass. He hadn't been, you know, trampled down a road or anything like that. And come to find out, both I think both feet kind of went through the same thing. But anyway, so see, and then I'm looking at this too, going, what? That don't look right. See, and look at the different colors the frog has taken on. See, everything's changing and doing weird stuff. Okay, so then I had trimmed the one foot. I hadn't even really looked at the other feet. Well, I guess I washed them because they're clean. Then I went and picked up the other foot and I found the same thing. Look at that. The whole apex of the frog had sucked back. Now, and look at the coloring there. Because see, I had been taking my grinder and I had been sanding off this periopal back here. See? Because I knew it was doing something, and I just had this sneaking suspicion. And so what it was doing, it was releasing the frog so the frog could move back to where the frog's supposed to be. Well,
how do you know you weren't grinding the frog's stay?
the frog stay, because it was periopal, and even if I would have ground a little bit of the frog stay, it wouldn't make any difference because it's just frog. See, this right here covers over, this periopal covers over the back of the frog stay. It covers over the whole back of the foot. See, covers over the frog, over everything. The whole back of the foot, it covers, puts a covering, a periopal skin covering over the whole back, over the heels, right here, over the heel buttress, over the collateral groove exit, over the back of the frog stay. See, that's all periopal. And even if I would have ground, well, sure, once you ground through the periopal, you're going to hit the frog. See, but it's just frog. It's the frog that fills up the central sulcus. Okay.
People, I'm gonna get going.
What'd you say? Speak up.
I'm falling asleep. I've got to get to bed.
Yeah.
So I just wanna. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to say good night to everybody, or good afternoon for you guys. So we'll chat next week.
Okay, because it's like, well, how long we've been here? 1, 2, 3, 4. We've been here 3 hours. But like, I could die tomorrow, so I have to share this, you know.
Keep going. I'll watch it tomorrow.
Okay, yeah. You do realize that we are unraveling mysteries that have been hidden from mankind since we crawled up, you know, out of the slime and onto a horse's back, which I don't believe that crap, but whatever. All right. You know, me, I believe.
Sweet dreams, Lisa. Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
People, good afternoon. Bye-bye. See you guys.
Okay. All right. So you see again this deal going here. And you see how this is the thing. His frog stay started to come back again. It had shriveled up to nothing and it started to come back again. When I trimmed out the periopal. So he started getting a frog stay. And this moved on both feet. You know, what can I say? It moved. The frog apex went sucked back on both feet. That's why I took so many pictures. I thought it was so interesting, you know. And look, it affected the whole sole. Look how the sole looks just kind of all weirded out. Because it's like a big sock. You know, if I was to take now and show you a picture of an internal foot, that's all, that corium that's all over it, it's like a big sock. You know, have you ever had a sock? You know how a sock can slip and be pushed around in your shoe? You know? Okay, so it's kind of happening on all the feet. I noticed that when I did this, because I did it to all of them, I trimmed out that periopal in between there, just kind of with a sander, and all of a sudden all their frog stays start getting bigger.
And what did the bulbs feel like? Were the bulbs more soft, or were they? What did they feel like?
Well, see, there ain't much of a bulb there. You know, that's just the back of the foot there, and it's a little bit soft, yeah. You know, it's because that's where you feel the regular part of the back of the coronary band and all that. See, but I didn't have much of a frog stay in the back of these feet until I took out some of that periopal. So, see, everything's moving and grooving there. See, the foot looks, all the feet look totally different now, like super healthy. And again, I was long time in between trims too. So that was the end of my trim. But look at the sole. See, once I cleaned up the sole, and once I cleaned up where the frog apex had moved back to, this is what I had. And I was like, why is this happening? And there was a big kind of, not a hole exactly, but it was soft here. You know, now remember the frog apex was here. It pulled back on its own. Okay, already the frogs stay here. This is all getting wider. It just looks totally different. You know, and don't think that when I don't look at these things and I see these things, I'm not a little bit concerned and wonder what the heck, you know.
Linda, I was just looking at that picture of the sole right there, and I can hear a gazillion vets saying that's your coffin bone coming through your sole.
Yeah, nope. Not at all. In fact, here, I'm gonna get a comparison here. Just a second. Let me go up here.
Can't you hear him? That's the perfect picture for that.
Oh, sure, but he wasn't lame at all. I mean, he wasn't sore-footed, wasn't lame, not a lick. Let's see, okay. Let me find, it's a different picture. Well, this foot I trimmed a couple days before, and I don't have a picture of it when it was super clean. But I want you to see what it looks like now, that same foot. Hold on. New share.
So because the frog slid back, then the breakover, sorry.
That's all right. Continue. What did you say?
Because the frog slid backwards, the breakover line looked like it was like the length of the toe was now too long, question mark. So then did you take the toe back?
I can't remember. I'll have to look, because I know at one point I like, usually if I move the apex myself, you know I can take the toe back, but because this was all weird and everything, and that coloring in the sole, I can't remember if I did or not. I know that I might have on one foot, but then got leery of it on the other. So I don't know, you know. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so now this is that same foot now. So what, that's like 2 months ago. All this area is filled in with really hard sole now. It's not frog, you see. It's shortened up quite. Now the foot is still 3 1/4 inches from here to here. But now this is the other foot. See, both foot were pretty much the same. They'd gone through this deal, you know. Let me show you what they look like now. Okay. Both feet look just like that when they're cleaned up. See that? See the sole? No yellow, no discolor. Sole looks healthier than it has ever looked. I've got white line. I've got a flat trim on this. No scooping, no nothing. I've got a clean white line all the way around the foot. The sole is totally solid everywhere. Like, you know how sometimes you push in here and it'll give? There's no give anywhere in any of this sole here.
And that's only 2 months difference?
Yeah.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of things just changed on this foot. And now this periopal is just getting so thick. I mean, it's just interesting what's going on. And I can look here and see that it's still curved in like that. See, should not be that way. So I'm expecting this whole thing to just uncurl. What did you call it?
Unwinding to unbind.
Unwind and unbind. There you go. To unwind and unbind. That's what I'm hoping for here. Just a minute.
Okay, but did you hit blood ever? Can you scroll back? Like, can you go back to the left? Oh. And that pink redness, is that just sunburn? Or is he, go back, forward? Yeah. There. Is that sunburn? I can't hear you.
Sorry. It's pink skin. He's just got real pink skin. See? And I scrub his feet real good. And so that's the color of his skin. Because see the white hair?
Okay,
So
thank you. Sorry.
Yeah, that's just his pigmentation. You know, we're just not used to seeing really clean skin on horses' feet, you know. You could eat off that. I got my brush, my scrub brush, and my my C.F. Crosley soap, and, you know, I dry it off with a towel.
Looks so soft.
It is. You know, but see now, even his foot, see, because I also thinned out the periopal here. Look at how he's getting frog stays. Look at this one over here. Just, I'm amazed at what's going on with their feet. See, white old frog stay. The frogs are so healthy. This is wanting to uncurl. Again, these heels should not be aimed in like that. I think this is all going to unwind and unbind. Okay.
Can I take a crack at reframing this just to make sure I'm understanding this correctly?
Yes, would you please?
Okay, so what I think I understand you're saying is when you unwind the bulbs, then they'll start to unbind because the true buttress will start to grow and kick those bulbs up and uncurl the faux buttress, which is really a wall.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll start to work in the anatomically correct hoof. And then you'll start to have better bars, better sole, better toe.
Yeah, and you know, I'm not sure, like, if this is sometimes it can totally be a fake buttress. Like, let's see, like, this is the real buttress here, but it's not supposed to be curled in like this. See, everything's curled in like that. And so that means the coronary band in the foot is curled in and pulled in like that too. And also the part that grows this buttress, which is the coronary band, that grows it. Okay, so it's all curled in. And so everything is curled in going that way. And so as you release this and as the frog gets corrected, it's going to start pushing these heels out and pushing them back. And like this, see how that curves there? That will no longer be curved in like this. This will all like unwind, so to speak. So we're saying similar, except you said one thing about the heel buttress, because I can understand why, because earlier I think you can have a totally fake buttress, but in his case I don't think it is. I think this is the real buttress, but the anatomy from which it grows has been pulled in like that. And so we want it to unwind and then unbind. Does that make sense?
I think so. I just have to figure out how to execute this because we don't have like a proper protocol, right? So we
Yeah.
just have to trust our instincts.
Yeah. And just a minute. Yeah, there isn't a proper protocol. Like even now, I'm looking at this and I'm looking at like, what is this? See? Like, is that something I could take out? You know what I mean? If all the periopal and everything is in here, well, what is this? Is that even supposed to be there? Do you see what I mean? So that might be something that I could take out. I don't know. See, and I have like a Proxon angle grinder with this little grindy thing. And so I thinned this down back here with that. And this is a back foot.
So what if you don't have a grindy thing? Would you just use your knife and the rasp?
Yeah. Yeah, you got to be kind of careful because where is it here? Because like right here, their bulb is pretty close right there, you know. But if you can get kind of right in the center here, I've taken it out with a knife too. So and these are the back feet, and they have just really improved since I did that. What this foot, it just kills me because of how yellow the periopal is. I just thought it was real funny how the frogs are just so much more healthy and pliable, and their color is so vibrant. Everything's gotten healthier, you know, but still bound. See, I mean, we're really in uncharted territory. You know what I mean? You know, you guys are going to learn things from what you do to be able to share back with me. That'll help me in my learning and growth as well. And see, this coronary band, and well, okay, let me show you something here interesting. Where am I going here? Okay. Oh, I may not have a picture of it. Well, anyway, what I want to say was, now I got to find out where I'm at. A second. Okay, this Periopal Corium. Okay, corium from the word coronary, from crown. Okay, or like a halo, right? Okay, so this is supposed to, it crowns the whole foot here, like this. And it attaches the hoof capsule to the leg, and it does wonderful, all kinds of wonderful functions. And as we trim the heels out and the capsule gets smaller, it shrinks and gets thicker. And then again, it gets pulled into the foot like this. Wound in. So we are unwinding and unbinding. Okay, just a minute here. I like taking pictures like this because I like looking down at and seeing what's going on here and with the frog stay and with the periopal. See, this is what I mean. Just the frog health is just blowing me away. And that's what you're really going to need to get everything unbound too, is that frog all being correct and stuff. So anyway, okay, well, that's all I got. Does anybody have anything they want to share or say or reiterate or anything?
It's Tiffany. I do have a question. I sent you 2 pictures via Messenger. I noticed that my horse has like a periopal cord, and I'm wondering if I should cut the cord.
I know what you're talking about, like a little seam up the back of his foot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Because I can take you back on this horse and show you where he had that plenty of times. And I was like, what is that? You know, I thought it was part of the frog.
Yes, that's why I don't want to cut it, because I'm nervous that everything's going to fall out.
Yeah, everything's going to fall out. No, it won't fall out. I don't think. Oh, that gave you confidence. Okay. So far I've done it and it hasn't, you know, I think you'd have to really thin everything down to have everything just blow apart, you know, and it's not going to blow apart. It's just the back of the foot and it's just being bound up there. And so I would go ahead and remove it and soak his feet. You know, I can go back to really old pictures and show you where Valor had that cord all the time. And I didn't know what it was. And even right before this whole Periopal thing, he had that. And I was like, what is that? I thought it was just part of the frog, you know.
Because then it like gets pulled and looks like a faux central sulcus.
Yeah.
In the frog.
Yeah. Yeah, a faux. See, everything's got a faux, you know? Got a falsy to it. Which is why the foot has deceived mankind for so many. Yes, the horse was created just to show humans how stupid we are. Everything about him is the opposite of what mankind thought it was. You know, just like the cruelty in training and all this other crap, and you know, these massive headgear, and now they're finding, well, you can just get them to do the same stuff with nothing on them. You know, you see, what a wonderful creature. What a mistreated creature. What a creature that has done so much for us, you know. So what we're doing here and what you guys are doing, first of all, that you can just sit here for 3 hours, you know, which and listen to this and wait for me to get these pictures out and stuff. I mean, you know, we may not realize that, but we're all pioneers on something that has never been done before and never known before. You know, so you know, you're all really special people. You don't realize it maybe, but what you're doing, it's going to wind up helping many other people and horses in the future. We may be small and not that well known and things like that. But by the time we're done, we're going to know what we're doing. We're going to know what the protocol is for each foot and stuff like that. I mean, you're all technically independent researchers, you see, doing independent studies. So I think that's a great thing, you know. Anyway, I just appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all coming here and sitting and listening to all this and allowing me to share, because I'm telling you, I'm learning as I'm going here. Okay. I'm learning as I'm going. because like I said, I never started out to be teaching people or anything like that. That YouTube channel was a lark. Oh, hey, my own TV channel. That's pretty cool. Just like I remember when I would write something and then put it on a forum and it would appear in print on the internet, I was like, it's like magic, you know. Oh my gosh. So at the time, I never thought YouTube would get it big like it did, you know, and there's some things I wish I would have done that could have kind of made my channel bigger, and I might have been able to do a few things, but you know what? See, I have never really made anything off of this. It was never about a business or making money or being a YouTube star or having famous Facebook groups or anything like that. This is all for me to help my horse, and then by extension, wound up helping other people too. And now we're all going to help each other because if what I'm saying is true, we will all start seeing it on our horses. See? What a great thing. And we'll be the first people in history to know the true foot of the horse and to understand the true foot of the horse, because the more I learn about it, its structure and the way it's made up, the more amazing it is. This little foot here, you know, just like it's muddy here, you know, that I live in a slough and I have no thrush. And like I might go 6 weeks and not even clean my horse's foot out. But the last trim I did, I cleaned up that frog and I treated it. And then I go and 6 weeks, pick up the foot. I ain't got a lick of thrush. I got the big, fat, thick, healthy frogs, you know. So that right there is telling me something, because you know the problem that people have with thrush if you get on these barefoot groups.
Linda, can I ask one more question?
Absolute.
Thanks. So I had posted a picture, a before and after of my horse's foot, and one of the things that was noticed was that, yes, although the back of the foot seems to be unbinding a bit, the front dorsal wall looked like it had like a bit of a dishing thing going on.
Yeah. Now is that's the foot you think is clubby?
Yes. It was pretty clubby, and it still is to some degree, but
okay,
looking better as time goes on. So the only thing I've been really doing is, you know, trying to trim the frog, trying to clean up the bars, and, you know, take the toe back. But yeah, this dish thing is kind of recent. So I was just wondering, you know, I don't want it to get away from me entirely.
Yeah. I understand, and I'm concerned about that too.
Yeah.
You know, I think I said something to you about it.
Yeah.
This is Allie, right?
Yeah. Hi.
Okay. Hi. Okay. So let's go look at, I got some fresh eyes on me. Let's go look at your horse's foot, okay?
Okay.
Let's see. Okay, just a second. Okay. I got to move some stuff here. Oh. Okay, got to go to Facebook. And then is that on the mentor page or on the other page?
Mentor page, that's right.
Okay. Oh. And then Tiffany sent me some pictures of her horse's foot. So I'm going to look at that, okay?
Oh, it's just of the cord. That's just the periopal cord. But you answered the question.
I see it there. Hold on and let me do this, and then I'll look at that, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, let's see. Okay. All righty. Okay. Let me get the new share here. Okay, here we are.
Yeah.
I'm just really looking, you know.
I also posted the soul view too.
Uh-huh.
That's helpful.
Okay, where is it at? Is it
It's in
on-
the comments.
Okay.
I think I posted a picture.
Okay.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
Well, do you have another picture looking down at the heels?
Yeah,
Okay, would you post that?
sure.
See, I know that frog doesn't look like it has a lot of life in it yet.
Yeah, that's right. I've been trying to trim it, but you know,
Yeah.
don't wanna do too much.
Yeah.
And this was the frog that I posted. It had the flap on it, and you can see on the left side, I
Mhm.
like cut off, like it looks like I cut off half the frog, but
Yeah, but that's okay.
you know, I had to get that thing off of there.
Yeah.
It was really crazy. All right, this view, I'll post 2 pictures and whichever one you think is better.
Okay. Let me undo this. Are you gonna post them here under this same area?
I'll post a new one.
Okay.
So I just went now.
Okay. Let me refresh here. Okay. Okay.
There it is. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's see. Let me take a copy of this. Okay. So we can see that you have no frog stay at all.
Yeah.
Can you hold on just a second? Let me get a drink of water.
Of course.
Okay. Okay. So, this for sure. Okay, what I want you to look here is you see my cursor?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you see how this goes like that?
Yeah.
Okay, so we know that your foot has been wound up. Okay, in the back, at the back of the foot. Look at the way the bar goes into the partial heel buttress here. See, so we know that the whole back of the foot is curled in like this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the main thing you need to work on, okay, is slowly getting that foot to unbind without and see the way that goes down like that.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff. So yeah, it's everything's just been sucked into the middle of the foot like so. So slowly we want it to unbind. So let's see, I got to go back to that one picture of the sole. Just a minute, which is down here. Okay, so first thing we see here is your foot is narrow over here and wide over here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so eventually you're going to want to get it so it's symmetrical, okay? But you're going to have to start trimming this bar. Now, you probably, the reason you weren't was because you had that big flap of frog in there.
Mhm.
And so you were just trimming next to the frog, right?
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
just trying to kind of clean out the collateral groove, and everything was so smashed together.
Yeah.
Now at least there's some kind of definition between
Yeah.
the two, but it was like a mess.
Yeah, now you're seeing what the real shape of the foot is. Because see, that frog can just kind of grow and take over, and
Mhm.
then it gets all dead and everything like that. And like for me, what happened was so much frog grew over on one side of my foot that eventually it laid the bar over, and I
Mhm.
just kept trimming according to the distortion, going over like this, as the frog was pushing everything that way. And it actually broke the bar off, but it was covered up by the frog. And
Yeah.
this was on a back foot. And so I had to remove the whole bar because it was broken off anyway, and it grew back. I mean, it came back in better even and stuff. But you see how the frog health is your number one goal here. And so to get frog health, you're going to have to slowly trim off all the dead frog and try and get some moisture to it as
Mm.
well. As well, you need to, have you been mapping the feet?
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay. See, now, man, I'll tell you. Okay, so now let me do an annotate here. Just a minute. Okay. Okay, so now we could come in here, and you want to come to the inside of the heel here. Okay, and what you want to do is your bar has to come down. You have to come through here, and you have to take your bar down like this. You understand?
Mhm.
Okay, just a little bit more like that. There. See how that bar is right there? You have to come through there like that and reestablish where the bar is going to be. See, this will be down like that now.
Mhm.
The bars taper in towards the frog and end right here. Okay, so you don't want it ending over here. See where yours ends over in here?
Yeah, it's crooked.
Yeah. And so start that first, is reestablishing where this bar is supposed to be. It's okay if the ledge right here is a little lower than the buttress. Okay.
Mhm. That was my next question.
Okay, yeah, that's okay. Your heel comes around like that. Okay, your heel buttress. And it's okay if your bar is a little lower, like so. See? Because for one thing, your real heels, let me undo this. Your real heels are probably back here. See, because your foot is bound. See, everything's up in there. Like that. So when all this unbinds and your real heels come in, it's going to enlarge this, and they'll be moved back, probably clear to here. They'll grow back to here. See? Because your foot's pretty short, because the back of the foot gets pulled in that way. And so if that unwinds, then your heels will wind up being back here. And eventually, see my horse's foot, you saw they were pretty symmetrical. Symmetrical meaning same on this side as on that side. Okay. But it used to be to where the medial side was very narrow like this, and the lateral side, well, look here, just a minute. Let me do this. Okay, go ahead and go down the middle. Oh, I don't think this one will do it. What I usually like to do is you can usually take this on in paint and move it over here, and you can see how much whiter it is.
Yeah.
You can still see that. See there?
Hmm.
And stuff. But as everything unbinds, as you get the main thing is to start getting your frog healthy. See? And so you got to start. You've started peeling off the dead petrified stuff. Because what happens is it gets so dead and petrified that it quits growing.
Yeah.
See? And so you'll get a supple frog. And then trimming the bars correct is going to start loosening up the back of the foot as well. Does that answer some of your questions?
Yeah, it does. Thank you. So what I'm hearing is then I don't need to do anything trimming wise to the toe for that dish. I just need to focus on the frog health for now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't want to.
Yeah.
I would not. Any sole that builds up in this area, I would not take out or move for now, because there's going to be so much pull on the back of this foot.
Okay.
So you want this area to be strong. And I've even considered on some horses wondering if we could take like even something stronger than Soul Guard and fill this whole area in, you know, to keep this foot from being pulled back.
Is that like a hoof armor kind of thing? Like a
yeah, or something even stronger than hoof armor. Like Soul Guard or Vet Tech, something Vet Techy, you know, that would really put a strong bond in here.
Okay.
Because
sorry.
Because if you've got a weak connection between the sole and the wall, and there's a lot of pull from the DDFT, or if even all this is kind of straightening out, it can pull on that toe, and it's pulling it down.
Right.
And it's pulling the toe down, and it's pushing the wall forward. You know,
her toes get like, her toes grow so much. So I'm like, you know, I didn't want it to like run away, but when I map, it's definitely more than 1.5 inches from the apex. So like, I know that things need to move backwards, but I'm just doing it so slowly because like you've been saying, you know, you don't want to rebind the foot from the front, especially since she had the club situation going on. So
yeah,
like I'm only touching that toe like just a tiny bit so she doesn't get like crazy, but
yeah,
you know, I'm not worrying about moving that back just yet because I like, it just seems like too much to do.
I can understand that, because I wouldn't want to thin any of that out.
Right.
There's so much pressure on the toe, and so you want as good a connection and sole in there as you can get for right now. I personally think. Let's go look at them other pictures again.
What's it called? Again, Soul what? Soul armor? No.
Vet Tech Soul Guard.
Soul Guard. Thank you.
Yeah. Soul Guard. Let's see, where am I at? What am I doing? Let's go up here and look at this. Yeah, see. See, now how long have you been trimming?
Just about, like, me doing anything to her would be probably like a little over a month or so. Okay. Maybe a little more.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all pretty new.
Yeah. And did you have a farrier before?
I did.
See, I can tell by that.
Yeah, I'm not doing that anymore to her.
You know,
so,
you know,
it was bad.
And I'm just looking, and something I see that is kind of good is this doesn't look as pronounced
Right.
as it did right here. Okay.
Mhm.
Which is good. Okay.
Yeah, it was like balled up like a can.
Yeah.
Like, it was
Yeah.
even worse than the bottom one. When she had shoes on, it was like, oh my God, it was so clubby.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I think it has that this release right here has allowed this to relax. So I see you going in a good place here. Okay.
okay.
Just in you taking over for the short period of time. And you know, whatever you did to that frog is helping. I mean, look at, there's just quite a bit of difference here. You know,
That frog, the flap, it smelled like death. It smelled so bad.
yeah.
It was, and now it doesn't stink so bad. Like it doesn't stink really at all, but
Oh,
it
good.
was really, really bad.
Now, have you heard of DF? Is it DF Crosley's
Yeah.
tea tree recovery and of the hoof paste?
Yes.
In paste.
I looked into buying that.
Okay, because I'll tell you what, it's awesome, awesome stuff. And the hoof paste, like I like to take the hoof paste and rub it around the coronary band and
Okay.
stuff like, it's actually, Skis calls it skin paste. To me, it's more like a lotion, you know, because it's just wonderful. I just love it and stuff. I got all these products. I got the shampoo, and I got the tea tree recovery spray, and I got the hoof paste. Well, skin paste, they call it. But it's like a lotion. Like I say, I rub it all over the frog and all over the coronary band and the bulbs, and I really like it. Okay.
Cool. Thank you.
But also use your instinct. You know, if you feel like you have to just lightly take back the wall a tad, that's okay. You don't want the wall here getting long and there being any leverage on the wall itself, but you don't want a deep bevel here either. You want this connection as far down as you can.
Okay.
So a light bevel here, just so when she breaks over, her fingernail ain't catching. You understand?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Because see, the way the makeup of the hoof, okay, you've got the hoof wall and then it joins up with the sole. Okay. You want to keep this connection as strong as possible in here. Because if you thin it out or weaken it in any way, well, that you got a 1,200-pound horse pushing down on a little capsule sole there.
Yeah.
If the wall goes up that way and the foot goes down that way, you're going to have a problem. Okay.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Thank you so much. That's
You're
very
welcome.
helpful.
Okay, so Tiffany.
I'm here.
Okay. Where do we go from here? Where are we going?
The messenger, but really you answered the question, which was to literally cut the cord.
Okay, I'd still like to look at that.
Okay.
Looked very interesting. Okay.
Also, while you pull it up, I will tell you, I was in I'm not a Facebook person other than to really check these TAC groups. And I accidentally commented on a hoof picture where someone was posting that they were a trimmer. And I wrote an honest reply, which was, these heels are underrun and the toe is too long, which was true. But boy, I got attacked. And I just have to tell you, it was so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
To stand up for myself. I knew I was right, but the constant just nastiness that was coming my way because they were undereducated, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I have to really commend you for persisting, because there was a point where I just want to be like, and done with Facebook.
Yeah, I
So,
totally
good for
understand.
you.
And it wasn't just one person, was it?
No, it was not. It was
No,
an
they get in
ambush.
theral little clicky gang and
That's right.
like a bunch of female dogs, and there you
That's
go.
right. Yeah,
Um,
it was brutal.
Yeah, yeah, I know how it is. That's why. I mean, there's people I don't agree with, or people will come on the group, but I just do not go for that ganging up on people and being nasty to people and stuff like that. There's no call for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got slimed.
It's okay. I had to take my lumps. I took
Okay.
it. But woo, I give you
Okay,
credit.
so here's what we got going on here is that and you know this, your bulbs are totally on the ground.
Yes, I know.
Okay. And so you have no frog stay whatsoever. It was supposed to be up here.
Yeah.
At this point, I mean, yeah, you could trim that out. It's not going to do much of anything, because at this point you got to grow these heels here and get this frog up. I'll get all this up off the ground. And here's the thing too, is that and you haven't got much soul either, do you?
No. I have not touched these hooves because of, you said to go on a 6-week timeout.
Yeah.
So you see length because of growth.
Yeah, and that's okay. That's good. Yeah, that's all right and stuff. But I'm just saying where your foot is at right now.
Yeah.
And see, that's why you see the frog there. It's because there's no heel. He can't grow any frog
Yeah.
and stuff. So he wears it out
Yeah.
like that. And something you might want to think about at some point too is doing a support system with some dental impression material here.
Well, I've been thinking about it because I tried a boot and he hated it. And now I have to put on my big girl pants. It's just hard to do by yourself.
I know. But you know what? I know you can do it. Anybody can, you can. And it's amazing. Because you already got your big girl pants on, girl. So
Thanks.
so I know that you will do whatever it takes.
That is true. Thank you.
And stuff. So okay, so at this point, I don't know if that's gonna do very much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he just really needs some more length and stuff like that. So
I was hoping that by cutting the cord, it would unwind so that the cartilage can kick up, so something can grow down.
Yeah.
That was in my heart, because I really am scared to death to try casting by myself. I'm clumsy at best.
You know what? You could always take a ace bandage and practice.
Okay.
Take an ace bandage and practice.
Okay.
Anyway,
right.
it'll all work out. You're on the right path. You know. Let's see, what else was I gonna say? Yeah. No, because see, this area wall needs to grow and push this up. See, this is what not trimming will do. It's weighting the wall here. It's weighting this part of the wall. So the growth will be able to be added in up here. See? So,
Yeah.
okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, does anybody else have anything they want to say? Everybody's snoring. What? Okay, well, you all are wonderful. Have a great week. You're all diehards. Stayed here right till the bitter end. 3.5 hours. Yeah, I've been criticized for these long hoof chats, but as you see, there's so much to consider. And if I had to go and find all my pictures first and put them up, I'd be here longer than I am. I'd be here all day first and then going, okay, here you go. So anyway, you all have a great week, and God bless you all. And we will see you here next week, okay?
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Be safe.
Thank you,
Bye.
Linda.
You're welcome. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.